Hey everybody, this is John for MTG Nexus coming at you with a short deck tech for Roiling Vortex Burn. As a friendly reminder, if you like Burn and Lightning Bolt based content, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, giving us a follow over on Twitch, and if you really like this kind of content and want to support it, please consider subscribing on Twitch. So, Zendikar Rising cards are finally out on MTGO, and while Mana Traders doesn't quite have all the cards yet, was able to acquire 4 copies of Roiling Vortex, probably the card most pegged to have a chance to make some type of impact for Burn in Modern. This is kind of a hybrid between Sulfuric Vortex and some type of Punisher card. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast that spell, Roiling Vortex deals 5 damage to that player. So basically, each one of its abilities are kind of The 1 damage to each player, adds some amount of inevitability, especially when you get your opponent down to like 4 or 5, 6. Sometimes it's hard to resolve spells at that point. A ticking clock can force your opponent to get more proactive, give you more chances to pick spots to try to kill them with burn spells through counter spells and such. The activated ability can be a little bit taxing on Burn's mana, especially in the early game. And obviously the middle card, comes with its own risks with us playing Rift Bolt. Other decks, there are a ton of different things that get hit by that ability. Lotus, and basically any suspend card, like Mishra's Bauble, Mox, Amber, any of the packs, so like Summoner's Pact, Pact of Negation, all that kind of randomly gets hit by. And then all the 0 cost random things, if anybody's playing like Ornithopters or, any of that kind of nonsense kind of gets hit. Mishra's Bauble. So that is an interesting part. I'm playing it in the main deck. I don't think this is ultimately a main deck card. I'm just doing this because I want to get the maximum times to see this card in a particular league. Much like when we were testing Chandra's Incinerator when M21 came out. It's a card you generally want to see as many times as possible. And unlike something like Chandra's Incinerator, it doesn't necessarily have diminishing returns as a top deck or in multiples. It doesn't require as much setup. It's just here, I'm going to slay my enchantment and, cost things. Now, obviously, much like Eidolon the Great Rebel, it does have the downside of when we are behind, it's not the best card in the world, especially behind on life totals and racing situations. So that is also something to take a look at. And then beyond that, we're just kind of using a typical Boros burn shell of sorts. I cut 2 copies of Skullcrack and 2 copies of Searing Blaze from the main deck to make room for the 4 Roiling Vortex. Beyond that, you have your 4 Goblin Guide, your 4 Swift Spear, your 4 Lava Spike, your 4 Lightning Bolts, 4 Eidolons, 4 Boros Charms, 4 Lightning Helixes, which I think might become especially important when this card's ticking down. Then 4 copies of Rift Bolt, no copies of Skewer the Critics or anything. As to what cards need shuffled around, if you're going to main deck this, that's kind of another discussion. This isn't an optimal build. I basically took one of the more recent 5.0 lists, cut some cards, shuffled some things around, and threw 4 Roiling Vortex into the deck. I like the mana base because we have the 5 Canopy lands, 4 Sunbaked Canyon, and 1 Fiery Islet. 6 fetch lands is pretty nice, playing any number of Searing Blazes in your deck. Sideboard, 4 copies of Core Firewalker. You never quite know how many red decks you're going to run into. The league with Izzet Prowess, we ended up, I think, facing 2 red decks. Faced an Izzet Blitz deck and then a Burn deck. So it doesn't hurt to have Core Firewalkers, 2 copies of Path. You know the drill. Kill the big stuff, kill the Tarmogoyfs, kill the Death Shadows. Sometimes deal with Uro, depends on the nature of their deck. 2 copies of Searing Blaze for additional burn against mana dorks, especially in smaller creatures. 2 Smash, 2 Wear Tear as kind of your split on dealing with things like Leyline of Sanctity and such, but also gives you some flexibility with the terror side to deal with some of the enchantments and stuff people are dealing with. I've seen people using the white, I forget what the name of the card is. It generates like 2/2 somethings whenever a land comes into play on the opponent. I am playing a copy of Lurrus despite my trepidations after the last Burn League, where I got spiked twice by Eldrazi Tron because it revealed Lurrus, and then 2 copies of Grafdigger's Cage. So obviously Cage doesn't play well with Lurrus, but you know, keeping things like Drudge cards from coming back, keeping Uro from coming back, while also, I know Poseidon has been a huge proponent of Surgical Extraction. I just don't think Surgical Extraction plays nice with Roiling Vortex, especially since a lot of the matchups you actually actively want Roiling Vortex in your deck are the same matchups you're going to want to bring in Surgical Extraction for dealing with Uros and such. So I think that's a bit of a nombo. As to what graveyard hate piece is correct in Burn, you know, Rest in Peace obviously is the default. Some people play Relic when you're playing Lurrus. Some people play the 1 mana, exile a card. Is it Lantern, something or other? I've played it on occasion. Soul Guide Lantern. Some people play Tormod's Crypts. Some people like Surgical Extraction. You know, I don't know if there is a right answer. Just having some amount of graveyard interaction is always correct with Uros, and Dredge decks always being a part of the format. So that said, we're going to jump into some matches, and once again, with the new formatting on the channel, I'm going to be separating the matches up and pairing them up, like the deck tech's going to be with the first match, the second and third match are together, and the fourth and fifth match are together. So that said, let's jump into some matches here on the stream. Here for match number 1, reveal our Lurrus. Lurrus mirror match, huh? Unfortunately, we're both going to mulligan here. I can't keep a 4-lander, especially without any type of canopy lands. This one's interesting. I think I put back Bloodstained Mire here. Keeping Roiling Vortex, although I don't think an Lurrus mirror is going to be particularly good. Especially against, oh dear lord, Boggles! I had to find a Bogle. Well, when I grabbed him on MTGO Traders a little bit ago, they were like 58 cents. So unfortunately, we're getting bogled. So I'm not sure any of this particularly matters. What the? Since when does Boggles play freaking Manamorphose? Well, this is only my second league since Zendikar come out. First one was the Prowess deck that's currently going on the YouTube channel, but what am I supposed to do here? I guess I'm supposed to... I think the correct play is technically play my creatures out, but I'm going to jam the Vortex just for funsies. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the reader. No, I'm not attacking my 2/2 into your 2/2 first striker. They're going to hit us with a... Okay, Core Spirit Dancer is fine-ish. kind of. 4/5 is nothing to sneeze at. Wow. If there was ever a matchup you didn't want to see Goblin guys, it's probably this one. Especially with us on the draw here. This is like one of the concerns I had with... I have no idea. I haven't actually seen it go off, so I don't know how consistent it is. But just the fact that there is a deck in the format that can kill on turn 1 besides whatchamacallit, Neoform is not good. Like, who puts this stuff in their mind that I'm like, they can figure this crap out like day one? Like, it's just like, how much time do some of these people spend on Magic that it's like, oh yeah, by the way, why would you attack? I was going to say, why would you attack with that one? That just doesn't make any sense. Lightning Helix. So I can deal 10 damage if my opponent didn't block. If somehow my opponent didn't have an evasive ability, we might be able to like chump block our way out of this, but 6, 10. You know, just for information's sake, I'm going to at least attack here. Alright, that's all we're going to find out. Well, like, I was aware of the... I was aware that there was, like, a mono green Belcher deck that I've seen on, like, Hoogland's channel and stuff. But just kind of blows my mind that there is a legit turn 1 deck of some amount. Alright, so we want these. Path to Exile is not crazy because of Core Spirit Walk or Core Spirit Dancer. Also, on occasion, they have to go in on a Dryad Arbor. Like, not terribly often, but sometimes they do. I think the other cut is maybe Lightning Helix here. Maybe Riftbolt. Maybe all the above. I just don't know. Leaving the Vortexes in, once again, I don't think they're particularly good. But, you know, science. That and the fact the, you know, the anti-life gain tech and things that deal. Now this hand is like tempting, right? So not that a 4-land hand is good, but we need a creature-based hand to beat them in case they have Leyline. And like Eidolon is a pretty good card in the matchup overall, so I'm definitely keeping. Not a like easy scientific keep by any means, but like you need creatures in this matchup to win, which is kind of oxymoronic because like their big idiots make our creatures unable to attack. So it's like, and they didn't even have a Leyline draw this game because they mulliganed to 6. Probably have a fairly reasonable draw then. Bogle. They have the Bogle. I doubt they're going to block, but you know, let's give them the opportunity to chump with their Bogle. You never know. I've seen, like, Bogle players do some dumb things sometimes. What the... Roiling Vortex would be so broken against this right now. Why would you bring this in against Roiling Vortex? Sure. So I'm going to get a little cute here. I'm going to give them the opportunity to try to put stuff on their core Spirit Dancer. Looks like they weren't going for that play. Unfortunately means they get to draw an extra card that they wouldn't have, but... I think you just have to start swinging here, right? Yeah. Does our opponent win this race? I don't really know that they do. We continue to draw lands, I guess they do. So is dealing them... So this would put them to 7. We could put them to... 3? 3 means they can cast 1 spell. Don't think there's appreciable difference here. I think there's a lot of things they're just going to kill us regardless, so... We really have to draw a something here. So I could fetch to thin. Which I think I'm going to have to do anyway, because I think we have to kill them this turn regardless. Is that lethal? I do believe this is lethal even through... So this alone is lethal without some type of interaction. So I guess I didn't even need to draw anything this turn. It's still a weird game to win against Boggles. Does Force of Vigor even make sense against us? I guess it's an out Eidolon. Man, it just feels like you don't want to be casting Roiling or that against Roiling Vortex. I guess if you're not reading the middle line of text, you might do that, but whatever. Core Firewalker, no. Smash to Smithereens, no. Searing Blaze, no. Rift Bolt, Luris obviously is our companion. Grafdigger's Cage don't matter for the most part. Obviously they have Luris. Wait, oh, they didn't show us Luris last game, did they? So they definitely have ley lines in their deck. Not that that's like a complete shocker, but... It was the Graveyard Hate in the deck list that I pulled, basically. I basically took a fairly stock deck list and just kind of went with it. It just happened to have Grafdigger's Cage. 7-card hand. And we have another 4-lander. I don't think this hand's going to get there. But once again, we want a creature hand against a leyline hand. And Roiling Vortex is a card we're trying to test. This feels like a mull, but I really want to keep it just because it's got some of the stuff we need to beat them. Throw it back. This hand's admittedly better. Keep, put back, Rift Bolt. No leyline. Opponent is keeping some Bogle heavy hands, I guess. I don't know. Obviously, Eidolon's much, much, much worse on the draw, but it's a card. Yeah, I know. It's just so difficult to ship that, you know, against Boggles because there's only so many like reasonable hands. Handing them a basic planes is just like a death sentence for us. Sure. Obviously a huge difference between play and draw here. If we run the draw, ooh. No, unfortunately we can't get them with double strike. Because this is only a 2/2. It's unfortunate. Do they have the Force of Vigor? Probably, the way they're pausing. Oh yeah, I know. But like a burn heavy hand with no creatures is also a blank. Alright, so we can safely concede here. I'm just like not used to Boggles having Force of Vigor. What card is Boggles scared of that they're running Force of Vigor? I guess Chalice? Is that like the card that you run Force of Vigor for is Chalice? Now explain the Manamorphose. I gotta look this up. Is there actually a movement towards this, or is just like our opponent running like some sick tech? I know I'm still recording for the first video, but it's kind of like, ooh, Boggles. Alright, the Force of Vigors was in the recent list that did well in the Modern Challenge. They did not have Manamorphose, however. Did another version have Manamorphose? Okay, this version's running Manamorphose. Oh, nope, that Rastaff, not Remeth. It looks like the Manamorphose, and the Manamorphose in conjunction with Force of Vigor, and I guess since you want to play like such a small number of enchantments anyway, it makes some amount of sense. I don't know, it just felt like Force of Vigor was a bit of a stretch against us, but, you know, would have been funny if we would have had a Vortex in play when they did it. Oh well. It's going to be a wrap for the, yeah, I suppose it would, but I don't know if they leave the Belcher exposed or not. But that's going to be a wrap for the first match in the league. Here for the second match, we're on the play against Guy Fireball. Guy Fireball. Bum 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 bum. 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 Yeah, I think it's more like the new lukewarmness, but, you know, we're giving it a try. Fireball. Boom, boom, boom. How you doing tonight, War Dog? Luris and no companion for our opponent. Alright. Well, I guess we grab a Sacred Founder here. Suspend a Rift Bolt. Now the question becomes, do we play Eidolon or Roiling Vortex next turn? That's actually a consideration. And I'm calling... Nope, Gruul. Yep, we got us a Gruul match. So... I guess we play Eidolon first? Question mark? They can't play a turn 2 Clothies here. So I'm going to play Eidolon first and go from there. That's good. I'm glad you're alive. That's a good place to be. Okay, so our little Eidolon's going to deal 4 damage. Because they have to shock in to kill it too. Cool. You have another Mana Dork. Of course they do. Probably a Utopia Sprawl. Because they let on the Arbor Elf. Okay, so we get to Goblin Guide them and Roil them. Alright. And at least most of their life gain's pretty telegraphed, so... Yep, there's a Clothies. This is going to be a Clothies one. I know, terrible, right? Mana Base is going to kill us this game, probably quite literally. We got a reader! You know, I would love for them to Bloodbraid Elf this turn and, like, not actually pay attention to the text on the card. Well, I actually... This is one of the few times that I actively want my opponent to cast a Blood Moon. Is that crazy? To see what my opponent does here. Okay, they're targeting Eidolon. So we're actually going to Skull Crack them. Put them to 7. Thank you. You done me a favor, friend. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, oh crap. I done punted myself. I done punted here myself. Alrighty. I get to deal myself 5 damage. Cool, cool. So if my opponent has a bolt, we're dead. Actually, they have nothing, so they're just dead on upkeep. So let's get a little bit more information on the way out, shall we? Well, because of the way the active-non-active flare works, their ability goes on the stack first, then Roiling goes on the stack and kills them. So, Weez is saved by the Roiling. Oh, what a what a great day to be alive. Oh, the sun's still shining. Anywho, so Searing Blaze seems reasonable. Path seems okay. Boros Charms can probably come out. We could bring in Wear Tear, but I'm not honestly that worried about Blood Moon. Like, we can get most of our white cards out of our hand. And, like, I don't know, opponent might be, like, overvaluing Roiling Vortex based on that game. So, Like, Wear Tear hits, Utopia Sprawl, Blood Moon. That's about it. Like, they could, I guess, theoretically bring in Cindervines. If we see that, we might bring it in, but I think for right now, I just think Boros Charm out these cards in. Yeah, well, yeah. That's one of the things I mentioned in the deck tech, too, was just, like, the danger of Riftbolt in a deck full of, yeah, we can't keep this in, unfortunately. I've had a lot of 4-landers tonight. Alright, I mean, that's a lot of Eidolons, and that's a lot of Roilings. I think we pitch one of the Eidolons, actually. Sand's actually really, really bad and really, really clunky, but I think on 6 we have to keep it. Okay, did nothing. Woot, woot, woot. We actually actively want to draw another land or two, so I'm not going to, like, fetch. Some people, like, you know, bring up the concept of fetching to thin and all that nonsense, but Elder Gargaroth, oh no. Well, we can't really play a long game here, can we? Elder Gargaroth is a problem. Like, legit, it's a problem. Bolt, sure. Does our opponent have another... Oh, wow. Opponent with a double bold hand. Nice. I love it when Eidolon like subtly does 4 damage and it like doesn't even matter. They have a Clothes. Clothes would like close out the game pretty much. Nope, looks like a double... Yeah, it's a Clothes. Alright, so the game's probably over here. Oh boy. So they're going to Gargaroth us on 4, despite not having a mana dork. Oh, excuse. It's too much life gain. Yep. Is there even a line here? Like, I'm playing another Vortex. Okay. I play another Vortex. They go to stay at 14. Deal us 6. Put us to 10. We go to 8 off of our own Vortexes. The Vortexes are just breaking even at this stage in the game. Can't really kill the Scavenging Ooze right now. I think it as bad as it is, it might just be Lava Spike. Lava Spike puts them to 11. Keep them from gaining life. They go to 10. I think they're just too high of a life total, honestly. I think our best play is like Lava Spike them, hold up Roiling Vortex, activated ability, and hope they make a mistake. Oh, it definitely is, War Dog. This is deliberately... It's deliberately set up to test it as much as possible. Like, I don't think it's a main deck card. I don't think it's a 4 of. But... Okay. Did they draw the 4th land? Okay, so they're going to 9. So they're going to cast Gargaroth. Presume, right? Is there any way to kill them? I don't think so. So we bolt them, put them to 6. I don't even know if it's great against blue-white. Like, blue-white obviously has... 6, 10, 12. We have to fetch to 10. Go to 13. And then I think die to Xaxes because of our own Vortex. 6, 10, 12. I guess it depends on what they use the whatchamacallit for here. If they screw up here, they could die. Okay. GG. Here for match number 3. Off the back of that awesome win from Roiling Vortex. Yeah, hand seems okay-ish. Yeah, I saw a lot of kvetching on Twitter about Arena tonight. And how long it took them to get the setup and all that crap. So, you know. Wizard's gonna wizard. No pun intended. Lava Spike, you go. You know, the one thing... Oh, we're up against Storm, aren't we? Ugh. Oh, we're up against... Izzet. This is one of the matchups where Roiling is probably not particularly good. I think I'm just going to main phase this. If they have mutagenic growth, they have mutagenic growth. Not really a whole lot. Of course they do, because why wouldn't they? Should have played our Roiling Vortex team. Team Rocket's blasting off again. Okay. I'm going to have the, yep, Storming at Sea, sure. So I think our play is Lava Spike you, play Roiling Vortex, and pray they screw up. Yeah, it would have been good if we would have actually played Roiling Vortex, but I couldn't really afford to, like, have them just untap with Sprite Dragon if we could prevent it. I guess I understand this play, trying to keep this out of bolt range, but... Alright, so what needs to go right for us to win here? Put you to 12, you go to 11. I mean, we could easily die next turn. It's kind of whatever. There's nothing we can do with this Boros Charm Roiling Vortex hand. Hope our opponent gets too freaking cute. There's a decent chance our own Vortex could be used to kill us this turn, depending on how much damage our opponent can do. Like, this is the setup that just does, like, a boatload of damage, especially if this is a Manamorphose. Yep. You know, as much as we joke about Manamorphose being a free spell, it's not actually a free spell, so Roiling Vortex doesn't trigger. But we'll see if our opponent gets, like, stupid with, like, a Lava Dart or something. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance? Question mark? I don't think so, though, because, like... Okay, is this lethal yet? It's getting very close. 6... Yeah, basically it's lethal because we can't cast. Okay, see if our opponent gets stupid with their Lava Dart or not. Put us to 1 just for the funsies. No, that's 13. -1. Never mind. Alright, the Roiling Vortexes here obviously aren't good against another heavy aggressive creature matchup. So they can come out. Boros Charms likewise can also come out. Smash to Smithereens is a consideration because of stuff. Core Firewalker obviously comes in, although they might have some number of Kozilek's returns. So these are definitely the 8 cards we want in. We could want some number of Smash to Smithereens as a hedge. I wouldn't mind trimming like 1 Eidolon, bringing in a Smash to Smithereens, just because I really don't want more than 1 Eidolon for the most part. Like, this is one of the nice things about Roiling Vortex is in a creature-heavy matchup, we do have a card to ward out quite easily. So... I'd love to play first. Reveal my Lurrus. Sand isn't exciting, but at the same time, it's not terrible. Do I just send them a message in Lava Spike on 1? I think so. Like, there's only 1 card in their deck that has haste on turn 1, and that is... playing this because I want to be able to trigger landfall on their turn. So I am taking a little bit of unnecessary damage to keep flexibility of my fetch land with Searing Blaze. See if our opponent is aggressively fetching a... So the answer is no. Let's go to fetch a basic mountain here, try to preserve our life total a little bit. Opponent could very well have a Mutagenic Growth again here. I was going to say, do they really have it like every freaking time? Love to rip like a Core Firewalker or something. I could put Lurrus in my hand. Is that a terrible idea? Like, what is the line that punishes us for putting Lurrus in our hand now? Like, Sprite Dragon into a spell? But is that even really punishing us? Might be correct to put this Lurrus in my hand, but I'm just going to hold up some bolts and pass and crack a Canopy land here. Okay. Awkward. Looks like our opponent kept an interactive heavy hand. Hey, if you're dealing yourself damage to cast your spells, I'm definitely cool with that. Sure. Funny part is we can let him go dump all the resources into the Soul Scar and then path it and not like care. Take the 1 point for what, War Dog? Bolt your face, bolt your face. Does whatever a bolt your face does. I have a feeling this goblin guy is just going to eat a removal spell, but I'm cool with that, I guess. Triggers a Soul Scar Mage. Okay. Yeah, not in this matchup, no. Aether Gust? I'm going to use an Aether Gust on this guy. Okay. That's fine. I really didn't want to play him again anyway. So I really want them to, like, go all in here. Sure. Hey, I'll give them this. They're pushing all their chips into the middle of the table. Sure. Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess they're dead, but technically they weren't dead yet. They had 10 points of power here. Why were you... I mean, sure, they're probably dead there, but they're not, like, guaranteed to be dead? I don't know. So the problem with the Izzet builds, right, are, like, they're still somewhat varied. Like, the Izzet build that I played against with the Prowess deck had Bedlam Revelers in it, but we haven't seen Bedlam Reveler yet. I don't think on the draw I want that many Eidolons anyway. Like, I might actually want to actively remove the Eidolons from my deck, but I don't really have enough cards to remove them at the moment. So don't know. That's just kind of a close one. Like, there's so many ways they can answer Eidolon, but at the same time, Eidolon is a must answer for them. One, two, three. 4 lands again is not good. However, Bolt, Helix, Goblin Guide, and Canyon. This one's actually a little bit closer than appears on the surface. I think I'm going to keep this one. Mainly because we have Bolt and Helix. Ooh. Opponent leading on might be a painful draw. We immediately draw another land. Okay. Go and bolt you. Okay. They really keep one lander? Just gonna go ahead and Helix that. Now they draw out of their screw before we draw out of our flood. Or they draw out of their screw before we... Guess Goblin Guide will reveal the answer. Land. Yep. At least without Vortex, we can freely cast Rift Bolt and not care. Is our opponent considering Ether Gusting that? I'm like, if their turn is Ether Gust or Rift Bolt, I think I'm fine with that. I feel like our Goblin Guide's gonna die, but, you know, make them have it, right? Burst Lightning, sure. Lightning Helix isn't a terrible one here. Anamorphose. Okay. See what they do with their scries and whether they have a land drop for the turn or not. Two cards on top, and they have a land. Wow. Just a clean answer to Storm. Nice. Nice. They must really, really like those cards on top. Sure. I feel like they have an Ether Gust here. Do I even play Swift Spear here? Why not? Opponent knows we've got something in hand because we're not putting Luris into our hand, but it's kind of whatever here. They're Ether Gusting what, the Swift Spear? Yeah, I suspected they had one the whole time, but can't mutagenic growth. I think I put that on bottom. I'm much more interested in drawing a I kill you spell off the top of my deck. Yeah, Dragon's Claw's fine-ish. It's actually kind of annoying. Like, they may be able to chain together enough spells now that they don't die. But they notably have no blue sources, so they can't play Sprite Dragon. Can now crack that fetch land, which is annoying. But I presume they have an answer to Goblin Guide, right? Trigger, Lightning Bolt, sure. Yep. This game might be slipping away from us, fam. There's the Luris. Awkward. And they get to get their stupid blue source. I know they have Sprite Dragon in hand. We're not quite sure what else they have. It's a pretty good one. Apparently we're entering like stage 12 of this game. Don't really want to run face first into this stupid Ether Gust or something here. So I'm going to wait to smash till the end of their turn. Spell Pierce. Well, that's unfortunate. Wasn't playing around that one. What's the score on what game? I have no idea. I don't remember if this is... I think this is game 3. I think this is game 3. I don't really honestly remember. That's an interesting one. Yeah, it all kind of runs together in your hour-and-a-half long burn league, right? Alright, let's do the thing. Okay, you go to 1. Guess it doesn't matter because the Eidolon's dying. Yeah. Yeah. Just continue to gain life here. Any lava darts they have hanging out in the graveyard. Into 1. Got 1 dart hanging out. I think this lava spike's lethal. All right, nice. Yeah, that match was definitely a grind. That'll be that for the match. We are here for match number 4, finishing up the league we started on stream the other night. Review Luris. Pretty reasonable hand, although it kind of sucks to be on the draw, obviously. Don't have any creature interaction, which could be an issue, but I think overall this is a hand that burn is pretty good to keep. Alright, well. Again, Scalding Tarn pass. Healing. Crab. Alright, so looks like we're up against Mill. A fatal push. Looks like they do. It's a lot of spells. Sure, you're paying life to... Probably taking a look at Roiling Vortex. Unfortunately, we're probably going to get whatchamacallit here, but these crabs are kind of annoying. Guess we place with Spear first. Does not have another fatal push. No sense in attacking here. Alright, well. For the final card, let's play Nightlawn. Block. Block, take 4. Alright, yeah, pot scoops. So, you're up against Mill with quite a bit of creatures there going on. Big scrap. Been a minute since I've seen that one in Mill. They revealed Luris last game? I don't think they did. Alright, so I don't know that we actually change all that much. Rolling Vortex isn't particularly good, but like, what would we bring in? Like, there's no guarantee they're going to have Mesmeric Orb. If they bring in Profane Memento or something, then maybe we'll consider that. Could Path, no. Firewalker, no. Smash, maybe. Blaze, maybe. Wear Tear, maybe. Cage, I don't really do too much out of their graveyard other than maybe recur. Whatchamacallit, Cling to Dust. We just submit, honestly. It's pretty decent. Don't necessarily have to fetch, so. It's got a crab. Alright, that actually lines up quite nicely. Because, yeah, their crab gets to mill a sum, which is annoying. Archive Trap, good to know about. Okay. Opportunity to block if they so choose. Blue to Delta definitely means we gotta kill one of the crabs this turn. Sure. Sure. At least one of the cards in their hand is a Archive got a trap that we don't want to trigger. Search for Ascanta, sure, whatever. Interesting. Surprised they're trading the crap away. I guess because they have no more lands coming up. It's kind of bizarre that they're not casting Search for Ascanta. That leads me to believe have some type of effect here. Flooded Strand, Watery Grave. Sure. Alright, and got there against Mill. Back here for match number 5. We're on the draw again. Luris. And it's pretty solid. We have a 1-drop in Eidolon or 1-drop in interactive spell. Not particularly vulnerable to Chalice this hand. So maybe we're up against Jeskai. It's kind of unfortunate, as Jeskai doesn't tend to be a very favorable matchup, especially if we're up against the Aspiring Spike version. Which is funny, because Jeskai is not a very good deck in the meta, has not been for some time. It's good against Burn, but it's not a particularly good deck. Curious. Alright, well, where is Spike's version here? I could have sworn that I retweeted his thing. Aspiring Spike. Yep, looks like his list would be my guess. Has he been playing a Triumph? He is. So generally, Magic players are monkey see, monkey do. Only thing I'm casting main phase is Rift Bolt because I really don't want to get hit by Cryptic Command any more than necessary. Let's move to combat. Hold up Lightning Helix here. Not playing anything else. Cryptic Command, bounce Eidolon. Resolves. She licks your face. Should have cracked the canopy there, though. Put it with nothing. Interesting. Yep, it's looking more and more like we're squaring off against the basically being mindful of keeping basics in my deck against the potential cleansing wildfire deck. They have path, they have path. I really can't play around it right now. Alright, looks like they don't have anything right now. Alright, well, not a lot for the control matchup. This list is featuring, if he is on the spike list, it's featuring 4 Ether Gust, a Spell Snare, some Remands, 4 copies of Cleansing Wildfire, which is cute. Cage no, Wear Tear no. Searing Blaze is kind of meh. Core Firewalker. I mean, like, a good bit of their kill spells are red, but at the same time, it's like, really? Do I bring that in over to Searing Blaze? Sure. Not exactly ideal, but it's something, right? Seems okay. Like, we don't have any one-drop pressure. We have an early Roiling Vortex, which might be alright. Problem is they have like so many 2-mana counters on the play that even the chances of this resolving are kind of eh. Okay, sure. Definitely strongly representing that they have path there, but we don't have a creature anyway. It really doesn't particularly matter. That we really want to get Riftbolt out of our hand. Kind of awkward, but I still think we jam here. So we'll probably get an Ether Gust or Remand or something. All right. Just going to Ether Gust it. Just pass here. Boros, trap in your face. Alright, well, Roiling Vortex doing Roiling Vortex things here. Alright, got the 4-1 on the back of a Roiling Vortex hand. Nice. So here we are with the wrap-up of Boros Burn with Roiling and Vortex in the main deck. Got the 4-1, which was kind of nice. Roiling Vortex kind of showed up rather nicely in our matchup against Jeskai, especially in that final game, kind of locking them out of playing Force of Negation, saving their life, plus dealing a couple of points of damage, which was relevant when we're mostly on the three-point burn spell hand. As far as overall, I haven't had a chance to look at Poseidon's lists, how he's running Roiling Vortex with like Rift Bolts and stuff. I did see Norath Decay, I think, who plays some amount of burn, some amount of Tron, replaced Rift Bolts with Seal of Fires, which obviously the raw damage output isn't quite the same, and he was running Roiling Vortex in the main. I think that might be like something we revisit next league. Just like Rift Bolt, like it's a great spell, especially like when you're on the 1-drop hand. But it is a little awkward with having Roiling Vortex, especially in the main deck. And I want to continue to test the card, at least in the main for now, to see like how valuable it is in some matchups. I kind of get the feeling it's just like it's bad in matchups like humans and the prowess mirrors and burn and such. And that's pretty good against things, you know, decks like Jund. Can be okay against Gruul, and then really good against like the Uro piles and such. So it's kind of my early take on the card. Not too surprising, but as to its like power and consistency and such, definitely need to try some more games with it. But overall, a very solid league. Only real loss was to Boggles, which, you know, Boggles going to happen. So, anywho, this has been John for MTG Nexus with the first league with Roiling Vortex.